Hello everybody, this is Loveness in there. I'm so excited to be here with MD Nyunyai Machiwenyika from Springer Publishing. As some of you may already know or have seen on social media, I'm now a campaign partner with him. Hi Nyunyai, how are you?
Hi Loveness, I'm great. It's lovely to be here.
So welcome. Today I want to talk about NytraZim and Springer Publishing. Can you tell us a little bit, before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, before I tell a little bit about myself, I just need to say this to you, Loveness, and to our audience. I met Loveness just a couple of months back, and the first time we just got speaking on the phone. There was an instant connection. I love the passion that you have for education, the passion that you have for your children's education. So Loveness is a parent, she's an educationist, she's a digital marketing strategist. You know all that, and we are very, very happy and pleased as Springer Publishing to have her as our campaign partner.
Oh, thank you.
So I just had to say that. But anyway, so you want to know
about you.
who am I?
Who's Nyunyai?
Who's Nyunyai? So this is me. I'm an economist by profession. That's my background. And today I find myself as a publisher, as an educationist, and seriously, I had no intention of doing publishing.
Never.
I have got 1,000 reasons why I was not supposed to have been doing this, but an opportunity presented itself to me, and I then decided just to explore the opportunity. That was like 9 years back, and it got me thinking about publishing. And from the onset, I then said to myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this differently, and I'm going to put in as much technology as I can. And at that point, just speaking, there was no there was no research or any strong information fitting into that decision. But 6 years ago, that's when we started Springer Publishing, and I then had to find out that technology is just okay. It's not a walk in the park, and it is very, very critical, extremely critical to have in our textbooks, and it requires us as a publisher to look at the business differently, to be educationists that are relevant in the 21st century. So through my research about publishing, technology, edtech, and all that, I am very, very passionate about education and technology. So that is why I am a passionate educationist. I love technology being integrated into the classroom. I'm also reading about growth mindset, and I'm a strong advocate for growth mindset. So those are the things that like really just describe the way I am looking at the future, and the way we are also just growing as a publishing house. We are a publishing house in EdTech, and we are pushing growth mindset.
And you know what, it actually speaks to just beyond books. You're really going beyond
just books. And that's payoff line. So when we had that payoff line 9 years ago, Loveness, and now when I think there's I don't know what you call that, but when that payoff line when it came to us 9 years ago, all this wasn't at play. It was and so now so I think the payoff line is just calling to us and saying, you said we are beyond just books, so do it and show us. So yes, we are beyond just books, and we are proud to be beyond just books. We don't just think about books, we think about the learner, we think about the 21st century, we think about the demands of the 21st century. And we are set apart in the way we do our publications. We just want to be appropriate and relevant, and want to have the right impact on our learners. So yes, we are beyond just books. We just want to give you a textbook, we want to give you real value that is relevant in this tech era that we live in.
Wow.
That is who we are.
That's nice. And I know from interacting with you that you're also passionate about inclusivity and child rights, concern, especially in the digital space, linked to education. Can you also talk about that?
So look, even the ministry is also for that. The Ministry of Education, they've got this mantra, no child must be left behind. I think in other NGOs that support education and children rights, child rights, they also think along those lines. So we are happy that we are contributing to that motive that these organizations and our ministry have. And yes, we want inclusivity, Loveness. So through what we've been learning about technology, it's no longer luxury.
No,
It is not a luxury, Loveness. Internet is not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. If you want your child to be relevant in the 21st century workspace, whether they're going to be an employer or an employee, whatever they're going to need to do to be economically viable, you need to have technology, and they have to be introduced to it at a very tender age. They have to grow with it. So, so when you now want to come up with solutions like we did with NytraZim, your terms of reference speak a lot to inclusivity. It speaks a lot to the right of the child. It speaks a lot to no child must be left behind. It speaks a lot to trying to bring some parity, which some of it is an impossible task. But for us, we're passionate about it, so we are going to consider it, and we're going to look beyond the limitations that are there and say, what can we do? So that is where we even our Spring Up team is practicing the growth mindset. Yes, what can be done? Nothing is impossible. What can be done? So we're simply trying to say, let's include everyone. Let's look beyond the barriers. Let's look beyond the limitations. Let's look beyond the social disparities. Let's look beyond whatever barrier you can think of. Yes, it's there, but we're going to pretend it's not there. You know, and let's just forge forward so that every child. We don't. Our desire as Spring Up Publishing is to have every child, even in the remotest part of Zimbabwe, having something that we would have contributed to them, because we feel we've got a social obligation to these children and to their parents and to the ministry. We chose to be in this industry. We were not forced into it. We chose to be in this industry, and so we need to get in there and be relevant and put our whole energy into it.
So from what you're saying, I know that this is like a mammoth task and it cannot be done by you alone.
Yes.
So what other avenues do you have that you can actually like contribute towards? Because I know that talking about it, a lot of the learning material is still in 2D, you're still two-dimensional, and you're still a little offline. But in terms of just also affecting the policies, affecting the curriculums, affecting everything that's in place for getting the children to be future fit, are there any other places that you're getting involved in?
Yes. We currently we are looking forward to a curriculum review by the Ministry of Education, in which key stakeholders are part of, and we have received our invite for that. So we will be going to that to the curriculum review, and we will be giving in our input. They give us a platform to give our input, what we suggest needs to be done in terms of reviewing the curriculum, what has been left behind in terms of the past curriculum or the one that's currently in use, which areas have got gaps, and which areas we think need to be illuminated, and which need more allocation, time allocation in terms of classroom, and maybe even material. So that's what we are. So we're able to get onto those platforms and give our inputs. But yes, Loveness, again, it is a mammoth task that we're trying to do as Spring Up Publishing, and we're a very, very small player in this. For our children to be future fit, borrowing your term, our children to be future fit, it is not just Spring Up Publishing that needs to act. The ministry will do their part. Yes, they'll give you the curriculum. We're going to have this curriculum review meeting together, and we're going to come up with suggestions. They're going to take them or not, depending on how they then evaluate it in their own private space. But when we've got that curriculum, they give us a framework. The way we look at it, that as publishing house, it's a framework that they give us, and we need to flesh it out as much as we can. And other stakeholders as well are supposed to try and flesh it out as well. Other publishers, other educationists, but there are also other organizations that can also then come into play for some of the requirements that you will need for the whole ecosystem to be complete. So a lot of collaborations are required in this for us to be able to have the future fit children, for us to be able to give the 21st century learner the right content. A lot of collaboration needs to be done from people, with organizations of different skill sets and expertise and whatnot. We are content developers. We develop digital content as well as hard copy content. That's what we are as a publishing house. But there's infrastructure that needs to come into play. If you're going to bring in technology, and we don't do technology, we don't do infrastructure. That's not our core business. So we need to get into those collaborations and strategic partnerships where you are able now to bring all these different elements together, so that we are able to deliver the complete and comprehensive package to the learner.
Wow. Awesomeness. So they're now jumping onto the product itself, the app and the textbook. But we'll start with NytraZim itself.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about NytraZim?
Okay, so NytraZim is the first solution that we as Spring Up Publishing have brought to the learners of Zimbabwe. This is the first of many. I need to say that it's the first of many. Yes, and we are very happy to pioneer that. We are the only publisher in the country who's been able to do that so far. So NytraZim is a mobile application that's available on Play Store or your Apple Store. It's readily available. What this application is about is it's an application that you need if you want to see our 2D book in 3D format.
Wow.
So that's what it does.
Yes.
So with NytraZim, when you download the application and you've got a Spring Up Publishing textbook, and it will just take you through paces, and the kids of today, the digital natives of today, will quickly know how to work around NytraZim. And when they've got their textbook, they should be able just to scan a QR code on certain pages, and then once they scan it, they watch their book come alive. On their phone, they get to see 3D content, videos, heavily animated, high definition, with sound and all that, and they get to see whatever they would have been reading in that textbook in 3D format.
Wow.
So in a video. So that's what NytraZim does. And we tried as much when we developing this application with our partners. We were answering questions, inclusivity. How can it be inclusive? We tried our best, and for us, for this one, we were looking at costs. We were looking at what's available in the country, and we said, okay, according to the telecommunications companies, there's very strong penetration of mobile gadgets within the country, and internet connectivity to some extent. And so we said, okay, we've got phones already. Look, cell phones are the most so cell phones. And then we also try to look at the element of costs, and we try to make our videos as short as possible so that they're not too heavy on your data. We try to get into collaborations with Econet to try and see whether we can zero rate the application. We tried to look at all these things. Unfortunately, we were not able to zero rate the application, but we looked at that option. We actually had a contract signed up, and we were ready to bring this out at minimal costs. So it was already answering to inclusivity. So that's the first. And it's very, very exciting. We had the Ministry of Education last year approve the application. They allowed us to do some pilot testing in certain schools. They went and did a follow-up on how the app was received, and it was just glowing. With NytraZim, loveness, you have no choice, you just have to love it. It's different. It's different.
And I've experienced it.
Yes, you did.
I experienced the initial one where you sent me the PDF of a page, and I downloaded the app. She took me through on the phone, by the way, and it was like a virtual demo. You guys knowing me, I was like, yay!
Oh yes.
My mind was blown. And so she sent me the PDF, and she took me through the pages over the phone, and after that I just scanned the PDF, and the heart came out. And she knows the story.
I've heard the story so many times. And you know what? Not just from you. Every other person who I've been the one doing the demo with. I don't know about my team members, but the people that I've had demos with, when they get to see the first time, they're like, oh wow, you know, I've had a lot of virtual demos as well, and you've got somebody on the other end of the phone, or you've got them on Zoom, or you've got them on Teams, and you know, and now you're waiting there, and you know, they're doing the paces, you know, download the application. You're like, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Yeah, yes, I'm here. And then they go quiet. You know, they try and figure out, is this the right page? Is this the right? And then, wow. You know, and if you can see them, sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes you don't see them because you're on Zoom and you've got all that video off, but it's everybody gets to see Loveness the first time. We love watching the face of people doing their first time. We can literally just wait there and wait for that moment. It's exciting. We're very happy for it.
You just need to experience it for yourself. You've got to experience it for yourself. It's like me having dessert and ice cream. I'm like, taste it, it's good. You know, it's good. You need to get your own dessert. You need to get your own NytraZim experience.
You have to. You know, we did an outreach campaign a couple of just in the month of March, and we had 2 teams going around the country, and you know, so every day they'd send reports or they'd send you pictures of the art, and they'll these teams had a blast. You know, yes, they had in the rural areas. Loveness, there is so much hunger for tech, and apparently there's Wi-Fi out in the rural schools.
Wow.
Yes, we were surprised. You know, you'd always then think that in Zimbabwe there's no infrastructure. It is there.
It's there.
We went there, and my team says we did 50 downloads in one school. I'm like, how did you do 50 downloads in one school? They're on Wi-Fi. So we just got them into the meeting room. So we did the morning session, I think 25 teachers in the morning and 25 teachers in the afternoon, and they were on Wi-Fi. And by the time we left, everybody was happy days, and they left them flyers. So because we're able to just do it on like on a PDF, like you said, we printed out flyers that had extras of pages on flyers. So we just had one side explain to them how to download the application and how to use, and then on the other side there's an extra of a book, and they just scan. And my team was just, you know, saying, you know, they're saying, give us more, because when they scan it and they're like, is there anything else, you know? So
more.
The outreach campaign was so motivating. We know we're on the right path. When you see that hunger for tech, even in the rural areas, you now know that it is real. The children of today, the learners of today, as long as the educationist or the teacher or the school is learner-centric, they will identify the hunger for tech.
Yes.
And the hunger was really there. So it was exciting for us there because even the teachers themselves were hungry for it. So when the teachers and the educationists, the ones who lead the children, are hungry for it, you know that they will use it and the children will benefit. You know, unlike where the learners want it and the ones that are leading the learning don't see the value. So we had a very, very successful NytraZim campaign. We're going to be doing more of those in the coming months, just to try and mop up and get to every place. We need to do that.
And I love that you actually went out into the rural areas.
We did.
And for me, that's like newsflash, Wi-Fi in the rural areas,
I
in the rural schools.
I was surprised. You've got Wi-Fi in the rural areas. They've got Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Yes. So sometimes when you want to develop these applications, you're quick to say, there's no infrastructure. It is there.
It's there.
There are places, yes, we can't deny it. Even the mobile service providers tell that we don't have network there. And they'll tell you good reasons. They found that it's not viable for them economically to have the whole infrastructure there. But Loveness, internet is now, this is our opinion, is now a right. It's a necessity. So even those areas in Benga, in the deeps of Beitbridge, something needs to be done.
Something needs to be done.
Yes, there is a social reason why you need to have those internet boosters and all those crazy antennas in those areas, so that those children are able to access internet. Because so in terms of inclusivity, we then say that area we haven't reached, that area we haven't reached, that area, and we're already thinking about, we've already got solutions that we're working on for those areas where we know that no matter, even if you give them a textbook and if you give them a phone, they still won't be able to access the application because there's no internet connectivity.
Yes.
So we're looking at options as to how can we have those children experience what their peers are having in other areas.
And that's so encouraging. That's so encouraging because talk to me about your textbook with tech in it. Is there an extra cost?
No, sorry. No. So there's no extra cost to it, Loveness. I won't say touch wood, but I know that if you're going to do a price comparison of our textbook with other textbooks in the market, chances are you will find that we are probably the cheapest on most learning areas. And yes, that we're sure of.
Wow.
We are the cheapest in most learning areas, and for the book that has got tech inside. And we deliberately do that.
Big. And that's massive. That's massive because I think in my mind would expect to pay extra as a parent for that.
No.
But if you're able to do that,
yes, that's what we because we deliberately want you to get the book because we want you to get the benefit of the tech that is in it.
Inside.
When you buy our book, we are happy that you've got a hard copy text, but you've also got tech already. Yes. You might not use it if you don't want to use it, but you've got it. We've given it to you, and as long as we continue to develop more content for that book, and you've got that book, you're still able to access more. You're going to get the book today with 4 videos, but if I'm going to put 10 more videos in that book, you can still access those.
Okay.
So yes, you buy a book today for $5. You know, I was just talking to my accountant the other time, and I'm like, so how do we categorize these assets? You know, you're an accountant. You've got current assets. You've got your description about current assets. You've got fixed assets, and you've got your description. I think you generally say the fixed assets are ones that appreciate in value, and these are the immovable properties, your houses, your whatnot. And then your current assets are the ones that. Our textbook. I don't know. You tell me. You're the accountant.
You're putting me on the spot.
Yes.
Okay.
How will you categorize a book
that has got that type of value?
It's a book to. If it's just a book with no NytraZim, I think you just got a current asset.
Yeah.
But if this book is going to be adding value whilst it's in the warehouse or it's with the customer, okay, no, it's not. Yeah, but then how or if it's a book that has got the potential of growing in value, but it qualifies to be a current asset because it's a way
classification.
Yes. But it's a book that is actually increasing value because right now it's sitting there. This book is in your stock. Somebody up there is developing digital content, and in a few days' time they fed it into the book.
Yes.
How do you classify that asset?
I think we need to modify our accounting.
Yes. For Springer publishing products. So that's what happens with
This is exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting, and when we think about it, like wow.
Yes. You know, and to have this product being driven or being pioneered by a Zimbabwean company and publishing house, because some of these initiatives and these types of innovation, we only read about it in countries outside. So I feel so refreshed to have it coming from them.
Yeah, and we keep looking for tech just evolves. It will never rest. You don't know what will happen in the next 5 years. You don't know whether we're going to have. Right now, we're talking about augmented reality, VRs, AIs, robotics, whatever. We don't know what we're talking about in the next 5 years. And and every single day, there is something new coming up. We don't know which careers are going to be in the next 5 years. Which careers are going to be redundant in the next 5 years. So for us, the excitement is in every day you're looking and researching and finding out what is new. What else is out there, and how fitting is it with our ecosystem in Zimbabwe? Can we take it and embrace it? Can we take it? Okay, maybe we can't take it that way. How can we modify it for this? It is just wow. We are excited. It's a huge task, I must say, and it's overwhelming. But the challenge is worth it. You know, especially when you're sure that when you've got a publication and it's out there, whether it's in digital format or it's in a hard copy format, and you're saying, look, we did what we are required to do to help this child to be future fit. It's exciting.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing actually. Yeah, and I just keep saying that because I, as a parent as well, we had the opportunity to actually get books for my daughter, ECDB.
Yes.
And when I got home, it was late. But just from seeing the covers, I kid you not, people, just seeing the covers, she's 4 years old. She was itching. She was itching. I want to see. I want to go through. I want to, you know, and actually gave you that feedback. Then
Yes,
after that, because we're doing online, after that, it was difficult for me to say, okay, calm down, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, after she's done a little bit, she comes back, I'm done. I want to do the next one. And it was nice to see that hunger for learning, for moving on. So what's the secret ingredient about your textbooks?
Okay, so we learner-centric. I think that's the secret. That's the summary of it all. We learner-centric. When we develop a publication, we want to be answering to the child's need, and each learner, depending on age group, has got different needs. But one thing that we know that every learner needs, whether it's in ECD or in junior school or they're going to high school, is high definition images. You need to capture that attention. The teachers know that a child engaged is half taught. So one thing that we do with every single publication that we churn out, it will be high definition. It will call out to you when you see the book. So all our books, they're high definition, Loveness, and that's what happened with your daughter. She saw the book and it was inviting her. And when you divided it, she wanted to open, and then even when we open it inside, we try as much as we can to speak to the learner. So if you see our ECD books, the way we did them, it's unique.
Very unique.
It is unique.
Yes.
It is unique, and I think I'm safe to say that we are the only publisher that has that kind of layout that we've got for yes. And it was us again saying this is for a modern ECD learner who's used to watching high definition thing on their gadgets, and they've got a certain way that they want to learn.
Yes.
So that's what we do. It's what age group are we looking at? I'm sure every publisher does that. What age group are we looking at? We then go on to say what will attract them, what will engage them. Even when we're developing our content, when you hear us discussing content, or just evaluating a book to be a manuscript, those are the questions that we'll be asking one another. What does this child want to hear? What age group are we talking about? It's not about what does the syllabus require them to learn. Yes, that is an objective, but the key question is that how do the learners want to receive it? How are we supposed to package it for them to internalize and to accept it? So we are very, very learner centric, and I think that sets us apart.
That sets you apart. It does, because my daughter then, I noticed something else about her. She wanted to take the lead on her learning.
Yes.
And that's kind of like really surprised me. It really surprised me.
Because the 21st century learner, Loveness, doesn't want to be schooled like you and I did.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't want to be schooled. They don't want to be forced to learn. They don't want to do rote learning. They don't want to cram. Their mind is a bit open. And so they want to learn. They want to get knowledge. They want to acquire skills. You know. So our content is supposed to speak to that, and they are supposed to lead the learning. She is right, Richard. That is what. Yes, that is what we expect of today's learner. They can happily lead you. Yes, and but it's about what are you giving them. You have to give them the right content for them to lead. Because remember these learners are being raised to be problem solvers.
Yes.
Tech, with the way it's moving, we will require problem solvers. Yes. People who can just wake up in a situation of change and they quickly adapt and they solve and they move forward, and people who can think outside the box and those people with the growth mindsets. you know. So that's the learner of today. So we then say to ourselves, so what content do we give them?
Yes.
So that they can learn to be problem solvers. They want to be problem solvers.
And that's so true.
Yes, but there are key learning that they're supposed to get as they grow up, and key skills that they won't have now unless we impart them on them. But how do we do it? How do we make them want to
And keep learning, just keep learning.
to consume the information?
Wow, I'm blown away. I don't know about you. I'm absolutely blown away. And you know what? Thank you so much for heeding that desire to get into the publishing space, to combine that with IT, and you know, just knowing that in the rural areas there is Wi-Fi. I mean, for me that is like an eye opener. So to the audience that's listening or watching the replay, what would you say? What are your final words for them?
My final words to the audience, to the stakeholders, to the parents, to those people who are the leaders for these learners that you're developing content for, is that technology is here, and it's here to stay, and it will just continue to move. It's already far ahead. We have to play catch up, and every single one of us has a role to play. We need to embrace technology. We need to integrate it into our classrooms. We need to integrate it into our children's learning materials. And if we are going to be responsible citizens, and we're going to raise future fit children, 21st century learners who will be able to operate well in the 21st century workspace, we need to embrace technology at a whole new level.
At a whole new level. So you've heard it for yourself. Thank you so much for being with us on this session. We have 3 more sessions. So every Monday on our Facebook page we'll be loading down the next 3 sessions. So we're really looking forward to those conversations in Nyunyai.
Yes. I think it will be, if it's going to be as fun as today,
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to it.
So thank you so much. Bye guys. It was good being
Bye.
with you.
It was good being with you today.